胜利，我们也非常荣幸的邀请到了我们的，原来是 Angela 选手来参与到我们这一轮的赛后采访环节。先和我们屏幕前的所有干员们打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是 EDG 的 Angela。
上一次我们在赛场上的环节还是在放狠话的环节，那么这一轮呢来到了赛后采访的环节。我们可以发现，在这张地图当中，天路多次利用了双盾体系，给到了防守点非常大的压力。那么之后会不会考虑在班位上进行一些改变呢？
其实我们在训练赛中也遇见很多像这种双盾打快攻的体系，但是我们可能在比赛中有一紧张，可能还是没有处理好，对。
但是没有关系，我们可以发现啊，就是赛程今日的第4天，也是我们 EDG 的第3场比赛，每一轮的配合都会越来越默契。来到第2个问题，领事馆这张图，你心中最强的干员组合又是什么呢？
我觉得在领事馆这张地图中，可能比较强势的干员，可能像 Grim 和银这种爆弹体系，可能会对防守方有很大的阻碍。
原来如此，又学到了。那么今天这局比赛，双方的比分都咬得非常紧，如何评价一下你的对手天路呢？
天路现在的阵容也是在 GEC 中表现是非常出色的嘛。在他们经过这几个月的磨合，也是非常的强劲。
是的，那么下次如果再遇到的话，有没有信心再次战胜他们？
有。
好的，包有的，对不对？好的，再一次恭喜 EDG 获得了本场比赛的胜利。当然，精彩的对决还在继续，我们稍后再见。
Well, the night is long and full of terrors, and unfortunately, these terrors will be loosed on the rest of the world not long from now. The CNL kicking off in 2026. Playdown number 4 halfway through as we jump into the action on the tail end of the day. KJ joining me on the mic, coming into it. It is a top versus tail matchup for the final 2 matches of the evening. We get to see our 2 group front runners going at it, taking on some less than prepared customers, unfortunately. Of course, coming into this 3rd game of the evening, All Gamers take on Titan Esports Club, and then rounding things out, 4 Angry Men take on Leviathan. KJ, I mean, hope's not high for our bottom of the barrel groups because unfortunately TEC and LS might struggle in this matchup.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of who's playing better on the day. I mean, you do say that it is the bottom of the barrel, but, it is Siege. Anything can happen sometimes. We see surprises. We see the underdogs win, but I guess we'll find out soon as we're waiting for the things to kick off here. But what sort of maps do you think we're going to see tonight, Blue Panther?
Well, I mean, the CNL has shown a propensity for one map in particular, that, of course, being Nighthaven Labs, currently rocking 50% of the map picks so far. 7 of 14 played. We haven't seen it yet tonight, so there is a good chance, statistically, that it will make its way through, of course. But you got to imagine that at this stage, teams are realizing that it is such a high prior pick, they want to go elsewhere. And I mean, you look at it with such a closely run affair, 7-5 by the end of it, courtesy of EDG, who play that post-plant spectacularly with the likes of Mentalist at the helm. They bait out the player rotating outside on the defense, and suddenly Tyloo just don't know where to look, and they lose out with a cheeky little defuse.
Yeah, I think, Consulate, it's a pretty interesting map to play now with the rework, and obviously EDG just able to edge it out there and win. But you see they're on July with a really high cost there, definitely a player to look out for. I mean, I haven't seen, too many of these players because, obviously new region, but there is some familiar faces on some of these teams. But yeah, I think I'm keen to see how TYL sort of picks up after that last match. Like we see the close game. Is it going to be another close game going forward? Or are we going to see a little bit more of a sort of heavy side on one side?
Yeah, I mean, expectations are very much there. But yeah, you can see Group A, of course. All Gamers at the top, My Queen second, KZ third, TEC fourth, and OC down the bottom. Unfortunately, Mingren's crew struggling just a little bit. But a first versus 4th matchup. I mean, on paper, historically, you look at a matchup like that, and you could almost read the result in the stars, KJ.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, you can be the underdog, you can find that sort of groove, and if you get into that groove, build that momentum, maybe you can beat that top team. But when you are going against a team that is on that clean sort of record, it is hard to break that momentum. So I guess they're just sort of looking to surprise them maybe you got some cheeky strats up your sleeve that you can, surprise this enemy team with. But I guess we'll have to find out what they have. And depending on the map, there's a lot you can bring.
Absolutely. And All Gamers, very, very well respected esports organization looking to add yet another international caliber roster to their trophy cabinet, essentially, at this point, by taking out the CNL first and looking to go international. But I mean, in this matchup, you look at how things stand. 3 of the top 5 rated players in this competition all wear that All Gamers jersey. They've in fact got 4 out of the top 10. Solo Mid just ranking in at 9. Moonlight second. MC is third. And Railgun sitting comfortably at 4th. These guys have put on a very impressive showing so far. The Titans Esports Club have got a mountainous task on their hands.
They do indeed, and it's an interesting sort of meta that Siege is in right now, especially with that addition of Solid Snake. I guess, it's sort of bringing back that lurk meta that we used to see when Knock was very prominent. So, I don't really know the meta that the CNL is in, but I'm guessing they're definitely going to bring that sort of frag heavy meta that we've been leaning into more and more over the last few seasons. And when you are going against a prominent team like All Gamers, they definitely have a challenging task ahead. But yeah, how do you feel about the current climate of Siege?
Well, I mean, the CNL especially, it very much seems to be a case of instill chaos in your opponents while maintaining composure on the home front. They just bring so many of these operators to make the game so uncomfortable to play, especially on the attack. You're looking at the Glazes, the Monties, the Blitzers, the Blackbeards, those big shield operators that can really throw a spanner in the works. Ying, highly prioritized. Dokkaebi, highly prioritized. And then, of course, like you said, Solid Snake coming into it. That Intel operator providing so much in terms of being able to get into the map and affect impact over wherever it is they head to. And on the defense, it's, like you said, very much sort of anchoring down, making sure, like I said, so chaos on the map for your opponents while maintaining composure on your own side. So you get the smokes, you get the wardens, all those operators that are going to make it so uncomfortable to pressure into a site.
Well, that's the thing. It is a shield heavy meta, but we've been seeing so much Thorn and Aruni. Obviously, Aruni, have access to that ACOG on that beautiful DMR, but Thorn, that change in the trap where it just sort of instantly detonates, very difficult. And if you can play around that when you go against teams, like you said, in the CNL that are loving that double shield sort of meta, the Monty, the Blitz, it's definitely a good counter. But most of the time when you're going against teams that are coordinated, have access to the Thatcher, they can disable it with those pocket EMPs, makes it a bit more difficult for a defense. And I guess that's what we're going to see today. Maybe if All Gamers can sort of keep that high run and stay composed, like you said, then they're going to be able to, pick up another win here and stay undefeated. But, maybe there's a surprise in store for us soon to come.
Oh, I mean, it's a very impressive record, 21-7, having only conceded 7 rounds in the 3 wins that they've accrued for themselves so far this season. The odds are pretty stacked. Not to say that there aren't other teams that are pulling out records like that, but it is easily the most impressive one. They're sitting 4 points clear of King Zero in second place in Group A. So it is going to be a tough task at this point to try and knock them out of that peak position. At best, you're playing a bit of spoiler if you're anyone but King Zero Esports. So that is something potentially that Titan Esports Club could do. Just do a little bit of damage, potentially try and force it overtime. Take as many points off the board as possible for this All Gamers roster, because otherwise there is a good chance they just streak their way to that grand final.
It is a very good chance, and I do believe the grand final is that best of 3. So whichever team goes up against them will definitely have to have that sort of composure and that stamina to deal with a very composed team like All Gamers. But they still have to get there. And we don't know what's in store, but you do think that it's going to be a Nighthaven game here. What are the other sort of maps that you think is on the board here? Do you think we're going to see, more maps like Consulate, or do you reckon we're going to see a lair in the mid?
Well, I mean, look, crazy thing is, Consulate is the second most played map in the competition with 3. So it's still, again, less than half of the appearances by Nighthaven, only by, 0.5% or 0.5. But either way, I mean, you look at it, teams have gone to lair in this competition. No Cafe, no Fortress, I say no Chalet. Finally, a Chalet as of tonight, but no Border either. So I mean, you get to see some of your tried and true. Nighthaven, obviously, the big proponent, and currently sporting about a 60% defensive win rate. So it has been a little bit harder to crack for some of these teams on the attack. Only banned the 5 times, so clearly there is a front runner for favorite map here in the CNL in 2026.
Oh, for sure. And, obviously maps like Border are a lot harder to defend, especially if shields are on the board. So I think if we do go there, it's going to be very rough with all gamers' way of playing. And I don't know. I think you might be right. I think we're probably going to see a Nighthaven here, which is more of a sort of, step-by-step approach. I'd like to say, you got to take control of certain areas of the map before you can just get straight towards the bomb site. Unlike Border, you can sort of just make your way in to those key positions and you're already on top of the bomb site. So Nighthaven, if it is to come, will be a very interesting game to see. But I don't know. I'm just keen to get into it.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be jumping back into Rainbow Six. It's been a hot minute, honestly, but I mean, things new, exciting coming into 2026, and the possibility of international appearances very, very heavy here for the CNL, of course. I mean, you look at it, the opportunities that present themselves. 4 of the 10 teams rather in the competition will get themselves a chance to go to Salt Lake City for that Blast Major here in 2026. So there is everything to play for. There is every opportunity, and a region that for too long, unfortunately, has not had that opportunity to step out onto the international stage is going to be doing so in a big way here this year. And it's one of those things. Unfortunately, regions like this can be a little bit insular. They tend to play their own style because they don't really get to play against too many other regions. And stepping out onto that global stage, things can change pretty drastically. And there you go, looking at it. Nighthaven Labs on for number 8 this kickoff season.
Oh, you did call it there. And like you were mentioning just before, obviously CNL, an emerging region. And, obviously the smaller regions that we reside from, we definitely know the struggles. But it's good to see finally some representation here for CNL, because there's definitely some good players in the region that should be showcased. And we have seen some of them go to other regions as well, like Mentalist. But it is good to see that we're going to that Nighthaven. I do enjoy a little bit of Nighthaven. Like I said, I'd like that sort of methodical step-by-step approach. I think it sort of plays into the core values of Siege, playing tactical, relying on your teammates to win the round rather than just sort of all guns blazing.
And I mean, it's kind of crazy in their kickoff season, the CNL having that LAN environment to play on, just a step up. Not having to worry about those online matches gives them that opportunity to get that LAN practice, which is so integral come major time, of course. And this all-gamers roster looking to soak up as much of it as they can before they turn their attention to the international stage. Just missing out, of course, through that LCQ last year.
For sure. And I think, we've got the players coming out now. And I think it's kind of cool that there is a LAN event here too. We don't get to see that too often in many regions. But it is nice to see that we can sort of see them play face-to-face, head-to-head. And, there's no sort of hiding behind your screen in your room. You've got to see your opponent's head on. And sometimes that's a little bit, nerve-wracking. And it definitely comes into play in your matchups as well.
I mean, it's already something we've seen in our first couple of matches of the day, playing in that arena on the same stage as your opponent. Already a bit of chirping gone on between the two teams. So it is something that these players will have to get used to, especially when we turn that attention towards the major and an international space, of course. And you can see all stacked, all ready to go. And Nighthaven Labs to kick off the second half of Play Day 4 here, KJ. And I mean, you look at what these guys are playing already. Moonlight, big fan of the Solid Snake on the attack. MC running his buck. And you look at it, Railgun and Solo Mid. Railgun loves the Monty. And Solo Mid's running that blitz. So clearly a priority around that double shield attacking setup.
Yeah, I think Solid Snake with the release, it just really plays into that meta that you can sort of just play on either on your own or for your team. It sort of opens up a lot of opportunities. I mean, you can lurk and you can clear rooms by yourself. You don't even need to drone. You just need to look at your little scanner. And if there is a danger nearby, you can precisely pinpoint where that enemy is. And I think it's really refreshing to see, because for so long I did sort of enjoy that knock sort of meta when you could lurk and you could play off your team and sort of backstab in those pivotal moments. So it's sort of good to see that you can sort of have an operator like that. But in saying that, it makes it very difficult as a defending team to sort of prepare for that. So you've got to make sure that you've got all corners covered so that does not happen here. But going into this map, Panda, in terms of what these players like to pick, do you think the operator bans, what sort of bans do you think is going to be coming onto the board here?
I mean, it's an interesting one. We're seeing a lot of prio around that flank denial on the side of the attack and information gathering as well. But I mean, Glaz seeing a little bit more priority than I would have thought. The CNL loving that Glaz pick. Obviously, we're seeing a huge ban rate of the champion in both North America and South America, I do believe. Actually, it's Grim that those two are banning out. Europe as well, banning out the Grim. So they want to deny that flank watch. They want to be able to play a little bit more freely on the defense, which seems to be the prio for the most part here in the CNL. But Moonlight, who we just saw on screen with All Gamers, definitely going to be one to watch in this matchup. 11-2 on entry at the moment. This guy is a big-time fragger.
Yeah, definitely got to shut him down early and not build that momentum. Otherwise, he'll just keep building the confidence and probably go for more and more risky plays. But like you said, the Grim, I think, especially on Nighthaven, very, very good for clearing out key positions. So definitely a worthwhile ban for either side, really. Because, that Rafters position there on that top floor bomb site can clear out that play, whether it's an Asami or just someone playing on that Rafters. Very easy to clear when you know exactly where they are and play off that Grim util. But also just downstairs as well, you can stop people swinging your Exo door or your tank door, and you can just go for that plan in supply. It's just Grim all round. Ever since he got his buffs, definitely a good operator to bring. So definitely something to consider when banning. But on the defense, if you don't ban out those wall-denying operators, it makes it a lot easier to take that space on the walls and towards the bomb site. So I think it's really a hit or miss. If you don't ban the hard breaches or the wall denial, you're left with having to delay the round elsewhere. And if you don't sort of ban those executing operators, it's going to be a whole lot harder to hold those key positions.
And I mean, in the 3 games played so far by this All Gamers roster, all 3 of them, they have banned out the Grim. They want nothing to do with it. Just such a powerful operator at the moment in terms of flushing out those key positions on approach to the site. So the less they have to do with it, the better.
For sure. We see here they're just getting ready to get into the lobby and get the action started. And Nighthaven, it has had a few changes here and there from its initial release, and obviously with the lighting changes and the addition to those gas pipes and the fire extinguishers, it sort of leaves some room. But look at that percentage there, 87% to AG. That's quite a strong decider there for who's going to win this matchup.
The hometown crowd clearly having their favourites, and I think All Gamers, not just as this team but as an org, really a local favourite. And so we'll look to carry that momentum into CNL. And there you go, once again, the Grim band coming through, answered by a Bandit from Titan Esports Club going into their opening attack. What else do they look to take away here? Thermite, yeah, okay,
Ooh.
so they've banned... I've completely blanked on it. But Thermite, yeah, has been a pretty consistent ban for these guys, and his army on the other side of that equation. Ying was the other one, so 2 Ying bans to pair with that Grim, and now 2 Thermites.
Yeah, I think Thermite, just an all-round good operator. As soon as he got that addition of that shotgun, he can, make vert, he can open up hatches. Obviously, can open up 3 walls as well with that additional exothermic charge than what he used to. But we see they're going to that top floor site. And I do believe there's going to be a rehost, maybe some technical issues occurring, but
yeah, unfortunately not quite the clean go ahead that we would like, but it does give them a little bit of extra time to sit and think, as we do get an inkling of where they're going to be kicking this game off. I mean, KJ coming into Nighthaven's, clearly there is a game plan here. This All Gamers roster seem to have an absolute lockdown on what they're going to be doing in this competition. They've gone to Nighthaven Labs once already, and it was a 7-2 shellacking over that OneCoin roster.
Oh, so we definitely can see they're comfortable on this map, and I mean, you know, if they're taking another team here, especially on a LAN, they definitely know what they sort of want to show here. And going into that top floor, it might be a little bit harder to hold that Rafters position, though, without that Azami, with the Azami being off the board. So they're definitely going to be careful about that one. But being on the defense, obviously on a map like Nighthaven, you've got a little bit more comfortability in the fact that you can sort of waste a lot of time if you can deny that sort of entry. But with the Bandit being off the board as well, I think it's going to make it a little bit harder to trick those walls. You still have access to the Cade, but obviously, you know, they have access to the Thatcher. You can't really trick against a good team there.
I mean, in 2026, with the experience that they've got in these rosters, and I mean, a region that has just sort of been unfortunately relegated to the wings, sitting, waiting, watching the rest of the world, you'd imagine that this experience has been picked up pretty quickly. China as a region has always been very, very quick on the uptick when it comes to esports as a whole, and I have no doubt that's going to translate into Rainbow Six.
Oh, for sure. And I think, you know, does Titan Esports have a coach? It seems that All Gamers definitely have a coach there, but I'm not sure when they did the walkout that Titans had a coach.
So they have a coach and analyst, but obviously not on stage with them. So whether it's a case or they're just not there with them or whatever the case is in actuality. But yeah, All Gamers have picked themselves up a coach with one hell of an accolade list to his name. Formerly of OXG, has worked with Fnatic, Gamma, so has a very, very long history of working with some very, very successful teams. Managed to top 8 at the 6 Invitational last year, of course, with LFO.
So definitely have some backing behind them, and that experience as well you can instill into your players, and you know, obviously make them
OXG,
better.
not LFO, that's right. So beginning of the year, so it was with OXG, which, I mean, arguably, OXG, a phenomenal roster to be a part of.
Sure, for sure. I think we're just waiting on them to be fixing up the lobby, so we might go to a quick break for a little bit, and we'll be back with some action shortly.
Well, KJ, they're looking to jump back into Nighthaven, but for real this time. Obviously, Grim Bandit, and then Thermite and Azami with the other two bands coming through. So trying to gut some of that defensive power that all gamers will be bringing to bear.
Yeah, I think, Azami, just on any map, really, you can definitely play around with her keybers and sort of change the map to how you want to will it. And I think that makes her a very versatile operator. So taking her off the board is definitely going to be challenging to place some positions a little bit more safely. So without that comfortability, it's going to be a little bit harder to hold this position like Rafters, as I was saying. But we do see here they're bringing that Fenrir, which is definitely very good for holding that Rafters position, especially that walk-through exit door there. But Allah as well, so bringing in a lot of traps here. But look at what we're seeing. We're also seeing that Clash being brought, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, knowing full well that there is a fairly high prio on the shield operators on the attack, you bring a couple of different tools to deal with them. Ella and the Grismot Mines, very, very good at dealing with those shield operators. Then, of course, bringing your shield of your own, especially that Clash on the defense, makes it a little bit harder to get in towards these sites and be a bit more proactive on the attack. But you look at it, no shields coming in here to start things off for Titan Esports Club. But that Glaz once again rearing its ugly head here in the CNL.
Yeah, but we do see they're not really going for that shield sort of take on the attack. They've got that glass that you were talking about, so definitely going to be careful about those walk-ins, especially through exit door there. Popping that smoke and being able to take out that Rafters player. But we're seeing the run out by Moonlight, the first to pick the first blood of the match and the matchup. And he will take out the Flores. So not able to clear any sort of util with those Runeterra drones.
Yet another massive run out, another massive entry from Moonlight on this Ella, one of his staple champions in the CNL so far. Like you said, taking a key operator like the Flores off the board early. Not that there is a huge amount of denial, but even still, just clearing out what you can with those Runeterra drones, dealing with the barbed wire, dealing with the shields, clearing out some of those Fenrir traps even, could be hugely impactful, allowing them to pressure on towards this side.
I think it just would have been super impactful for sort of pushing that Clash back, especially, you can keep forcing her to either walk back or force to stay. And pairing it with that Capital Fire definitely could have been lethal, but having that off the board definitely going to be a tough challenge here for Titan Esports. But do see here, looks like they're going to try and go for an execute on this electrical player here, but you've got the Nomad and the Capital working hand in hand and sort of pushing that player back. And now they're able to take this ground.
Done aggressively, but the shield is there. Smoke behind it as well as MC. Looking to lock things down. That Grismot just well and truly giving away the game. Not to mention the audio cues that they would have heard for sure. This is a bit of an uncomfortable position to really contest on through, especially having the Clash on top of all of it. Yeah, MC's well covered right now.
They're definitely sitting rather comfortably, but they've got to be careful of, sort of a pinch. But it doesn't look like Titan Esports right now have any sort of other control on the map. They've got that connected control. They've got that electrical control. They're not really going for that IT or water sort of presence right now. So they're sort of just going into the lines of sight of AG here.
They're sitting there. Those shotguns really, really hard to push through. And there you go. Solo mid finds a second for all gamers here. There's the Nomad now gone. Ace taken out, looking for that spray through. They find yet another, but lose one of their own. MC down, and that's the smoke. But I think arguably job done at this point. The 2 versus 4 Titan Esports Club really under the pump to try and make it work in solo mid. This Warden going to town. A 1 versus 3 for Russia on the Capital, but he's facing down the Fenrir and a Clash on top of this Warden. So there is going to be that big frontline shield operator that incredibly hard to shoot through, running through the breach. They've got the bulletproof camera there, 7 seconds to go. What a swing, but it's not enough as Solo Mid takes a 4th on the round.
Yeah, definitely going kind of crazy there with the 4 piece, but I think, you got to stop that early if you're Titan Esports, especially, letting one player shine. They're just going to build that confidence to go for more and more swings like that. And I think what sort of fell apart as soon as they lost that Flores, they sort of were, on struggle street trying to find those picks back. And they definitely did well in that mid round, but they just, when they were pushing that shield there near electrical door, it sort of all fell apart from there. They didn't really have any sort of backstab potential. But we do see all gamers now going down to the basement as they continue their defensive run. And What is it right now, Panda? Is it 13 for 7? No, 22 for 7.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be. It would be 22 for 7 in the round count. And look, I mean, that's a pretty spectacular stat in and of itself, especially in a kickoff season like this. But heading down to the basement, oh, Moonlight. Absolute ripper of a kill there to kick things off. And it just goes from bad to worse for Titan Esports Club as every single member just whittled away at. Because of that intel, because of the denial that all gamers brought to themselves in that pick phase.
Obviously, like we were talking about, you know, Nighthaven, it's a little bit harder to play other than your maps like Border. There's a lot more space that you need to take control of before you can start to go for that execute. And I think, you know, maybe that was just a warm-up round for Titan Esports. Maybe they're just trying to, you know, start to kick things off here and start to see the way that all gamers are playing. And they just got to be careful of that solo sort of roamer that is going for those crazy plays like Moonlight the round prior. So they're just going to be careful. He does have access to those Valkyrie cameras and that C4, so they're going to be careful of any sort of vert potential there. But looks like they're going for some vert control of their own as they start to tear up the floor here with the blitz breach charges. Don't usually see that too often.
Yeah, just trying to get that verticality set up for themselves. They got the RAM as well. Just try and make it a little bit easier, a little bit safer for the Dockerby for that information gathering. This blitz, again, such an integral pick in the competition at the moment. These big, hefty shield operators, cheeky angles, head up set for MC. And once again, you look at it. They've got information, they've got the dial, they've got that clash yet again. But this massive, massive smoke on top of what is already a very, very hard glare to get through with those Vulcan canisters. A late rush could be a death sentence here for TEC.
They also have the ADSs there to help with the shield player as well. So everything is just considered here for all gamers. They know what they want to do, and they're just carrying it out right now. And the smoke canisters are going to delay that push furthermore. And they do have that vert on the staircase, but the Clash can sort of just sit there comfortably for now, as well as the smoke. But it looks like they're pivoting towards that Exo side, trying to get some vert, trying to pressure that side and try and rotate some of those defenders who holding that side so they can sort of go for an opening here.
Yeah, I mean, the problem... Oh, there was definitely a player in the line of sight of Naga. Unfortunately, just an opportunity taken. But they just lack the realistic, the reliable way to deal with this clash. And air jab at best, but unfortunately, they've all been placed. So you're going to really struggle to threaten onto this clash by any stretch of the imagination, barring a miraculous blitz push.
Yeah, then they're getting short for time here as we approach that 30-second mark. They've got to start to go for these executes, start to go for those trades, and hopefully win it with that trade game. 25 seconds on the clock. Jaeger holding this Exo player, but Goyo going to be the first to open up. Will take out the Ram, but all going to start to unfold as the Goyo packs will detonate. The Ace charges will open up that wall there, and it's just guns blazing for Titan Esports. They do find two, and it's now in a 4v3.
With 4 seconds left to go, they need to find it a little bit more. It's just Railgun, but he doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to hold the time. Plant is going down, and they will get it through. And unfortunately, tables turn as they do just buy themselves enough of a breath to get that diffuser down. And a clash in a 1v4 situation. Cops an air jab, so gives away the game. They know exactly where she is, playing from above, looking for anything. You look at the health bars, this is not an impossible situation, but if it's going to happen, it's got to happen quick. You've only got 23 seconds to work with, so Railgun has to get a move on, but that's a blitz. Unfortunately, not the easiest target to deal with. And it might just be a play for KD at this point, because all they need to do is just sit this blitz on the clash, and there's nowhere to go. And that will be Titan Esports Club tying things up, and there was speculation that even this would be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think, you know, that round there, they were very patient, Titan Esports. They definitely were met with a lot of challenges there, and it did come down to some very key gunfights, and they just won them. I think all gamers just weren't sort of ready for that final execute and the way that they sort of executed there. So I think, you know, props to Titan Esports there for making that work with such little time. They got the control that they wanted, and they used it to their advantage and won the round. I think, you know, props to them for that, but they've got to keep up that momentum if they want to sort of, you know, keep up with all gamers, because I'm sure that they have a plan in place to shut that down.
That's exactly. You'd have to hope. you'd have to pray, because otherwise, I mean, this could be a very, very rough end to the game. And I'm not sure what the game plan is there for Solo Mid. But he's prone on the floor. All gamers bring out that Kaid. They bring the friend reel once again, but the castle to boot. And I mean, look, already it's been a bit tough to get through. Luckily, Titans Esports hit some ripper shots to get themselves in to contest that bomb site and really threaten All Gamers. So you can see already that approach has changed a little bit. All Gamers looking to double down on that denial.
Yeah, I think both dominant rounds from both sides. So, you know, we might be in for a good close game, but still early days. And, you know, obviously the viewers have their thoughts on who's going to win this game. But maybe Titan Esports is looking to change that. But we do see them now in that supply control bomb site. They're not looking to repeat the same bomb site. They're looking to switch things around, go to the tertiary bomb site. And like you said, the castle, I think, a very good operator to bring, especially on a site like this. It just denies a lot of lines of sight of cutting off your rotates around the site and around the site. But if you are bringing characters like... I do believe they were running a Flores, but they chose to switch off it. So they're going for more of a vert take with this Ram, I would believe.
They switched off the Daemon onto Alliance. Alliance and Dockerby, a lot of prior around that information gathering aspect, but they don't necessarily have the tools to clear out that artillery core and enable themselves an angle into the building.
See, the line scan will go off and won't reveal anyone, as they're all just sitting comfortably towards the IT and command there. They're just looking to hold their position because C4 will go out, will not connect, but we do see that Gaz will be taken out there. The castle off the board, and a good opening pick for Titan Esports. They can now slow it down, but will be traded, and they will take out the Blitz. That's a good execute. Oh, do get off the board, but another pick. He will find the Lion. Now the favor in All Gamers.
MC with a huge momentum shift has diff control as well. So now All Gamers know exactly where they need to hunker down. Have the player advantage to boot. No nitros to work with, but it's far from the end of the world, especially when you look at the weaponry. TCSG, not to mention that M10 in the hands of Moonlight. So a lot of close quarters threats. They're going to go for cams, try and get what info they can, which is going to be invaluable right now. Russia 5-1, a linchpin in terms of these rounds so far. What a headshot! Railgun gets lasered out of existence to bring it down to the 3v3.
Well, we do look at the stats there for him. 6-1, and we do see taken off the board there will be the Cade. Solo Mid off the board. So now it's all left to MC and Moonlight here, and they're both on the top floor, so no one on the bomb site right now. They do have some access to the vert, but I do believe that they're just going to try and go for the bomb site here. That's what could be happening, but it looks like they are going to execute.
3v2, 2v2, 2v1 as Moonlight and MC turn it on a dime. And it's in the hands of Ark on this Ram, who is unfortunately downstairs late to the party. At the time, we'll just bleed away with nothing to do but scream into the void, and All Gamers take the lead once again.
Was the diffuser down?
It was down a long time ago. It was down nearly halfway through that round with control over to AG. That was a bit rough there for Titan.
If they had access to that diffuser, they definitely could have gone for that plant downstairs, but luckily for AG's sake, they were able to hold on to that diffuser and sort of deny that pinch from all angles there and hold it out and gain themselves another round here as we're halfway through the first half now. And still, I'd say a close game. I mean, you know, both sides in a bit of a tug of war, push and pull. Ready for round 4.
I mean, first quarter out, and the bans that follow, Dockerby and the Kaid. So denial taken away, information, intel on the side of Titan Esports Club removed, which had been a staple of the first quarter attacking for Titan Esports in the hands of Russia to boot. Phenomenal play from him on the Dockerby. Just absolutely putting the screws to All Gamers. Unfortunately, no longer going to be an option.
Oh, this wallbang here on the traces was very, very clean. Some nice shots there, but unfortunately, it did not amount to that round win. So just unlucky on the late round there for Titan Esports. But going into round 4, we're going to see the top floor bomb site coming back for all gamers. And they did win it in round 1. So let's see if Titan Esports can sort of adapt the way that all gamers played it last round and maybe catch them off guard here.
Okay, Titan Esports Club do switch off that blitz. They've got a decent amount of tools in their arsenal to clear out a lot of these defenses. But no Kaid means that they don't have to worry too much about clearing out that denial. They just get it done.
There is no Ala on the board this time. Instead, Moonlight is on the Denari there. Same primary weapon, just a different ability of choice. And I'd like to say that Denari traps are actually more irritating than Ala's. So much more versatile in the way that they work, especially if you know some cheeky little setups. But you see Arconix, sorry, they're putting some air jabs for those jump outs, for those flanks. C4 ready for that electrical window player.
Trying to find themselves at least a point of leverage. But I think you can quite comfortably back Moonlight at the moment. Has been hitting some pretty impressive shots, even if he is sitting only at 2-2. But a minute 30 is across the halfway mark here in round number 4. Electrical being heavily contested right now. Nitro cell ripped and ready to go. It's just cheeky attempted bait from Arc. It's thrown. Oh, what a shot from Arc on this Nomad. Clears it out. And the Capital goes to work to try and open that space for them to get in the window. But an aggressive cross here from Solo mid. Do they know that air jab's going to go down, but he is not within range. They know he's crossed. They have an inkling. But he's going to run himself back. Cops a bit of damage from the flames. But he gets himself to safety.
I mean, good work by Solo Mid here, just keeping his composure, able to deny the push here. Because Titan Esports looking to go for that exact same control they did last time, but we are seeing some picks go across the board. Fenrir and Denari will be taken out, but will be traded with that Nomad. But Titan Esports here with that man advantage. Glaz pushing through the IT breach, but the swing from Solo will find one, but we're just seeing trades all across the board. And now we see Russia left in a 1v2, 30 seconds on the board. He knows where the Malusi's playing, but does he know where the Thorn is?
Two very low health bars. Drops the smokes, trying to provide himself a little bit of cover. If he gets behind that shield, maybe he can work his way up towards that position. Get more aggressive. One down, but can't find the trade. As the Thorn gets it done. MC. Gadget to work. Get the job done. And they will find themselves a slightly more comfortable lead.
Yeah, that new Thorn gadget change definitely coming into effect there. The detonation just so quick, not quite able to escape its radius, and definitely a deciding factor in that round. So I guess good placement there by MC, and unfortunate there for Titan Esports, not quite able to close out the round. And another round on the board for all gamers, and they'll return back downstairs. So far undefeated on that top floor bomb site, but this basement one a little bit more risky for them. They did play it well. They did waste a lot of time last time, but Titan Esports were able to find the gap and the opening, did win out on their engagements. So I think all gamers got to be wary of that going here in round 5.
A little bit more of a brute force approach in that round to get themselves in with a grin. They do it quite comfortably. Tachanka, though, coming through the cap can. Russian duo making their way through on the defense, and you pair it with the likes of Vigil and Asola, so they've got an information gathering potential out the wazoo. Not to mention the fact that it is just going to be a brutally hard push towards the site for Titan Esports Club. They look to bring themselves to Solid Snake, try and play a bit more of that deeper intel game with the Sultan radar.
I think for Titan Esports, they've got the right idea early round. It's just that mid round they really sort of struggle, and they're just not catching all gamers off guard as much as they should. You know, go for the backstab approach, go for those sort of off play angles or positions, sort of pressure them into moving about. Sort of switch things up here, and we're seeing the Solid Snake's util coming into play, but Solus also using the ability there to spot out the people on the drones and find out some of those key positions of these players. But Solid Snake looking to lurk towards this kitchen 90 sort of area, try and find these roamers. caught off guard.
Watch the Salt on not having found a huge amount of info just yet. You look at the amount of denial, you want to at least try and remove Moonlight from this equation. A late round flank from a Vigil would be a death sentence for the very least for Titan Esports Club. They do have that flank watch in terms of this Nomad, but you look at it, Solus, looking for that info, impact out. Just trying to scare TEC if they can.
I think a very crucial position here that Solo Mid is playing is can hold it for as long as he can. Definitely going to cost Titan Esports this pivotal sort of position for their execute as well, as they did open up that wall. But we see here that Arconix is holding this angle on the Solus, waiting for him to peek, but will shoot some bullets, will give away his position. It looks like Solus will retreat towards Garage, but we do see there's still 3 roamers on the board for all gamers.
Oh, what a shot, Railgun. With the Tatanka finds one, but is immediately traded out. A great little kill there, but at the cost of so much HP on this Nomad. Air jabs going out, and the Solar still getting some vital information. Looking for the third angle. Can they find it? Ping's going out, but that is a very dead MC. Courtesy of Russia, who's just bagged himself his 10th kill of the game here on Nighthaven. Oh, looking for it. Shots going through. And it's going to be a great little denial there. This Ace looking for a plant with 36 seconds left. They just need to hold on for a little bit longer, and this Soul is just getting information after information, and it's an Ace dancing around the pillar, looking to try and find an angle to get this plant off, and there you go. Has looked to stick it on through. They will cheekily get away with it. Timer now in favor of Titan Esports Club, 4-2, as they will get themselves another very impressive win, it looks like, down here on the basement. 2v3 though. And you look at this Nomad, very low on HP, but Russia again holds his door, finds his one, and Solo Mid has to try and clutch up with no util to his name. But unfortunately, KJ, this basement just can't be held by all gamers.
Yeah, I think Titan Esports, they just know what they want to do. And I think what it came down to was they sort of saw that heavy vert presence and they went for a play through Animus there, and they found their pick. It was a trade, but off of that, they were able to just take the bomb site. And it was a little bit of a dance around, a little bit of a jazz downstairs when they were trying to go for that plant. But Solus just pressured so much with those flashes and just was sort of lost on where the bomb was going down. But, you know, Titan Esports, they stayed composed. They had the time to do so, to move the plan around, and they're able to find the win there, bringing it that little bit closer here for the attack side for them. And if a 4-2 split is what they end up with, I don't think that's about half of them, but still one more round to play for them to even things out here. Do you think it's going to be the case?
I don't know. I mean, again, on paper, you very much lean the way of all gamers, but I think it is worth mentioning, of course, Titan Esports Club did take out the second place team from Group A. Well, they didn't quite take it. They took it to overtime on Nighthaven Labs against Kill Zero, which is no small, or King Zero rather, King Zero, which is no small feat in the grand scheme, given how well King Zero have been looking at the moment.
Yeah, all gamers definitely still playing well, but Titan Esports, they're definitely playing well as well. You know, not being the favorites here, they're still keeping up here on those basement rounds, and if they can do so on the defense when they eventually go through, it's going to be a tough game for all gamers to close it out. But one more round here on the attack, and they're bringing the Twitch this time to sort of clear any sort of util, but they do not have the Fenrir this time out, and we are seeing that tertiary site being bought out, and they are going to clear some of these Goyo packs, just narrowly missing that one there, I do believe. But Ace is going to open up this IT wall here, start to pressure that Rafters player and start to get that vertical presence.
Actually, thinking about it, I think he may have got it, but detonating that Vulcan pack would have destroyed the drone. So, worthy sacrifice, I suppose, at the end of the day, removing that Vulcan canister. But all these traps brought Legion, Goyo, Smoke, and Ella going to be handily dealt with, courtesy of this Twitch. So a massive call and a very, very well rewarded one to pick up this Twitch to try and answer what this All Gamers defense is going to try and achieve here.
Yeah, I think all gamers are sort of read into the fact that if they waste enough time, then Titan Esports execute will be a little bit sloppy. I think learning from those basement rounds, that's probably the idea that they're going for here, but they just need to make sure that it works. But we see Yaz there, the first to take out Russia, but Konix will find Moonlight Definitely a prominent fragger to get off the board. Although he's 3 and 5, I feel like his frags have been impactful. But we do see there's still a few roamers here on the top floor, and it's now Titan Esports' job to clear them out and not get any more casualties, as it is a 4v4, 1 minute left on the board, and still a lot of work to do.
Absolutely, mate. We've got that vert control over the site, heading in towards the warehouse. Having cleared a lot of that utility away from the rafters position means they can now get themselves in. They should take control of the entire room, work his way down onto the site. This blitz control that is still offered, it still has the smokes in pocket as well. So they will have that ability to potentially go for a plant, but when you consider the fact that there is a smoke in the hands of Railgun, who, even without that utility, is an absolute weapon on the sticks, it is going to be a hard time trying to execute this plant with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, 1 smoke canister left in hand, 1 Ala mine left in hand too, so can't use that during an execute. So they've got to be careful here with this blitz that he's not caught out in one of these Ala mines or the smoke canister, but that's the last one to detonate there. 15 seconds left on the board for Titan Esports to go for this execute. Smokes will be popped on that rotate. Blitz looking to find the pick here in games, but will be met by the crossfire of Railgun. The plant's starting to go down, but forced to get off. Solomid Yaz with the retake. And it's just the Ram there on the vert. And all gamers with a beautiful, beautiful retake there on that execute.
Absolute denial. I mean, you can see what the game plan was, and all of that utility that would have been there to deny the blitz. Cheeky, ninja plant was just completely denied. It didn't matter in the end. They just got the kills off.
Yeah, I think Titan Esports, they had the right idea in mind in terms of the execute that they had, but
like solo pushing, ego pushing, stuff like that. 加上我们专注于那个团队配合，不想我们去单摸单推之类的。Okay, we work as a team. Okay. 是一个团队。I need to see that more. Okay. 当然想看到多一点团队配合。We make sure we're ready. Make sure we're ready. 全部都准备好了，然后3、2、1。Okay, we make sure we reset. When we need to reset. 确保要 reset. 需要 reset 的情况就 reset. Yeah. You guys got this. Okay, you trust each other, trust your teammates, play as a team. That's it. 但是相信自己，相信队友，就能赢了。大家总的心态懂吗？总的心态，好吗？哎呀，现在我其实对今天有点急。
we see there that the wise words of the coach, saying to stay composed. We're going to this next half. Just reset. It's a new half, and to sort of go forward, a fresh mental.
And Coach Phenom on the mic, just giving some words to his team, trying to bring things back down, trying to stabilize ahead of the second half. And I mean, look, to be fair, I think he's well within his rights. All the gamers have had a pretty solid control over that first half, but have been shaken a couple of times. They just bring it back down, level themselves out, and look to restart things in the second, close this game out.
Yeah, they're definitely looking confident, and they definitely are playing well, but, you can't let that get to your head. Titan Esports, they have been able to best them, 2 rounds, and if you let too many rounds slip, you can lose that lead. So, you got to have respect for your opponent and continue to play it out and, not get too much confidence. Don't let that ego build up, but they are playing well. They are playing well together. They're just going to keep that up going forward. But Titan Esports, they got to look to roll it back here now that they are on the defense. A 4-2 split, not too bad for them. And we do see almost identical bans here on the first ban. The Bandit and the Grim will be taken out. But Cade and Nomad, we didn't see that last time. But Nomad definitely going to be a good player to ban. You're going to be able to go for those flanks a little bit easier. But Gridlock still on the board.
And those of you of Oceanic fandom would probably know the name of All Gamers analyst Cooltimer, an Oceanic staple for a good long time, is behind the scenes helping bring this team victory, and they're looking so good doing it alongside Coach Phenom. And we did hear from him in that halftime break. But coming into it, All Gamers now on the attack, looking to get things underway and close out this game, solidify themselves as nigh untouchable at the top of Group A.
For sure. But look at this lineup that they're bringing. Azami not being banned, definitely going to utilize that. And we're seeing the Thorn, the Aruni, and the Shield coming out as well. So a lot to deal with. But also, they're starting off with that tertiary bomb site of Kitchen. Not something you see every day.
Absolutely not. Maybe just trying to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works, try and throw all gamers off who would, you'd imagine, be expecting a certain approach to a map like Night Haven.
Indeed, indeed. But we do see the Ram here, so they do have access to a very powerful vert operator. And if, Titan Esports aren't able to deny enough time here on that verticality, then that Ram is going to be absolutely detrimental for a site like Kitchen. There's just no room to breathe once there is all of that vert.
I mean, they got the tools for sure. That Clash and Thorn become a bit of a problem, but with the Capital and that Dockerby, they should have at least the information, the ability to flush them out, allow this blitz to go to work in the hands of solo mid. A lot of droning, a lot of information gathering. We've seen how prolific these roaming operators can be in the later stages of the game.
We do see they are trying to execute on this Clash top lobby stairs here. They do have the right tools. They have the Capital. They have the Blitz ready to pressure as well. They're going to be careful about losing that diffuser early as well. They do have Blitz holding that diffuser, but the Capital Fire will push the Clash down the stairs. We see Moonlight holding the retreat there on the vert. So be careful if you're Titan Esports about how you play in this last half of this round. But still, no picks to come about. They're playing rather safe right now, just trying to run down that clock that little bit.
It's like I said, that approach where it's instill chaos in your opponents. Try and keep things composed. Not a single drone. Well, I say not a single drone remaining for all gamers. Bar these Rams, of course. That's not an information gathering tool, that's a vert opening. So they're going to have to rely on solo mid conveying that information through as they brute force their way onto the site as we hit that final minute mark.
They do still have one Dokkaebi call in pocket as well. They're just going to have to rely on these gunfights and these trades. And hopefully they have this execute underway. But we see the Blitz pushing towards the ward and Railgun going to open up the match. But we're actually going to find a TK onto Solomid. That's your Blitz off the board. No sort of in-your-face action from him. But the Clash still up. Still pressuring those players trying to push the hallway. The Gorn 6 will clear the shield, forcing him to retreat. The Azami barrier getting destroyed. But MC getting away with his life.
A sniff is all it's going to take to drop this Capital at the moment. MC at a dangerous position is going to have to hit his headshots. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Titan Esports Club. And it is Ulmerix who finds Railgun, who had found the first 2 kills in the round. Unfortunately, one of them being on his own teammate. So 4 versus 3 with 8 seconds to go. Net composure slips. MC's looking for a cheeky little plant here, but he's got no HP to his name. If he dies, he's done. Yaz finds the equalizer at a 3v3, but the plant goes through. They don't disrupt MC. All it would have taken was a little bit of a puff of wind, and that Capital would have been gone. Ulmerix has a position above the bomb right now. They've got angles set up, but you can see how defensively it's being held here. The post plant by all gamers. Swing for one, can't find the second. It's traded out. Ulmerix for one, but Yaz holding things down. Ice cold in the veins on the Dokkaebi. Now Ulmerix, he's looking for a flank angle. Moonlight dumps the stun around that corner on the Ram. Looking for the angle with that R4C. It's going to be a contest. No, he plays defensively, pulls back, waits for it. And with 10 seconds on the clock, they get it done. Not even needed to run out the time. All gamers come out swinging.
Yeah, unfortunately for Titan Esports, they just had no sort of plant denial, no impacts, no C4, no smoke canisters, nothing in hand to deny and shut down MC on that slither of health. But they did have really good positions from all gamers. I mean, Yaz holding that 90 hallway was able to lock down, find that Azami, and then sort of hold his position from there and just waste that time on that last player there. But the Vert player as well, able to hold down those angles, shut them down from coming through those doorways. And just all around, for all gamers, they had all the positions that they needed, crucial cover fire, and they were able to counter that perfectly.
And it seems we may unfortunately falter off what was a very impressive round there to attack. We'll have to wait and see, just get confirmation. But all gamers, I mean, it looked for all intents and purposes that round was going to slip away from them. Titan Esports Club, even with help from Railgun, taking out Solo Mid on the Blitz, was not enough to deny this all gamers roster. MC with a sliver, and I mean, he had more bullets than HP. in that moment, and he still gets to plant through under the cover of smoke. All they would have needed, an impact, anything, a bullet into the smoke. Realistically, they just throw the gun. The impact of it would have taken out the Capital, but they just couldn't stop him. They get the plant, and the post is spectacular. He even finds a pick before falling to allow his team to close that gap even further.
Yeah, that little tuck there on the bridge was a little bit cheeky. He did get traded out, but the positions from All Gamers was just too strong, and they get that lead. They're on 5-2. They're one round away from being on match point. They're in a very good position right now, so this tech pause is definitely going to be good for Titan Esports to sort of figure out what they want to do next, how they want to try and get these rounds back for themselves, and sort of just an introduction into how they want to defend against All Gamers attack, because how it kicked off, it was very, very strong from All Gamers, but when that TK came out and those trades came out, Titan Esports, they definitely were fighting back. It was just them allowing that plan to go down that they really struggled.
Yeah, well, it seems that the tech pause has evolved into a rehost, so much like the teams, we have to take a brief... Oh, no, okay, never mind. The problem may have resolved itself, so I was going to say we're going to take a break, but they get it done nice and quickly. Don't need to borrow the word rehost as we jump into it. I mean, KJ, a very, very clutch round there from All Gamers to put themselves up 3 rounds and within striking distance of victory here.
Yeah, I think... All Gamers, they're looking to close it out now. They don't want to drop any more rounds, and we do see it for Titan Esports. They're not looking to repeat the same mistake and go to kitchen. They're looking to take things downstairs, and they're going to bring a lot of trap operators. That Allah being brought about, as well as the Thorn. So looking to really deny those staircase pushes. But look at what we're seeing. We're seeing the Ying. We're seeing the Glaz. I'm thinking that they're going to go for a very hard execute here onto Titan Esports defense.
I mean, 2 very oppressive operators currently being played. The most banned attacker in that Ying being banned in 54% of situations. And look at that. They're just dumping utility, looking for a bit of a bum's rush onto the site for a cheeky plant. Railgun is on the job. Yar's actually going to be the one to draw first blood with that shotgun in hand. Is traded out, but Moonlight's there. And it's a flurry, kill for kill for kill, as we sit 3 versus 3 with 40 seconds on the clock. A rush spectacularly from All Gamers, having opened that breach directly onto the site, cover the smoke. They've got themselves a great little position, but it's Russia to find himself. Railgun puts themselves in an advantageous position. They just need to take that site back. They haven't got much time to do it with. MC and Moonlight just runs past the gap.
Oh.
What a shot! Russia gets it done again. MC falls. Can they find the defuse? 15 seconds to go. It's Olmerex down. Moonlight in a 1 versus 2, but one of those 2 is Russia. And that man does not miss opportunities. Titan Esports Club will get it with time to spare.
That was a round. I mean, All Gamers going for a great execute, great quick plant. They were pressuring the vert from the get-go and then playing off of that sort of chaos and destruction and going for that plant with the Glaz on the cover. And they were able to get it down, but the Allah on the run out there, Russia just able to run out of Animus and just instill absolute fear onto the All Gamers side. And I think that's the momentum Titan Esports need to, sort of bring this back and get on that comeback season.
At this point, it's not necessarily how do we win this game, it's how do we stop Russia from stealing it away from us, because that guy is on an absolute tear right now. We'll get those player cards up in a second. 15-5, a 3 KD currently to his name as he picks up the Azami. I mean, KJ, this guy is almost single-handedly dragging Titan Esports Club towards, if not victory, then a tie.
Well, I mean, if you add it all up there, Russia actually has more kills than the rest of his teammates combined. But in saying that, obviously, some of his teammates might be enabling him to do so. There could be some behind-the-scenes, comms or, plays that allows him to be playing as well as he is. And if you are Titan Esports, you want to be enabling him as much as you can right now, because he is feeling himself.
Absolutely he is. So we head up to that 2nd floor bomb site. One server in Russia needs to keep this momentum if they want to minimum force it to an OT.
There's still a lot of work to be done if they do want to get to that overtime potential, but that's definitely a way to kick things off. They are going to be opening up that IT wall there, so all gamers not struggling to open up that pivotal wall for getting closer towards the bomb site. And we see that they're opening up that connector wall as well. So starting to box in on Titan Esports here, forcing them to be stuck towards the bomb site. And I'd imagine they're going to start to execute on this electrical window as well.
You'd imagine so, but I mean, the brutality of these DMRs being brought here by Titan Esports, or by all gamers rather. Very tough situation. You don't want to be copping many, if any, shots if you're Titan Esports on this defense. And you can see this Twitch already going to work, clearing out some of that util. They've got the frag grenades as well, meaning that a lot of that denial is just completely removed. They know that there's the thorn traps coming through. Need to deal with them, but the Razor Blooms already have proven such a menace this game.
Oh, he doesn't let it stop him from jumping in the window. The smoke will detonate. The Thorn Gadget will detonate as well, doing minuscule damage, but leaving him in that hindered state. The Keeper Barrier sort of blocked his line of sight as well, but he's going to flame off the push. I do believe he's probably going to try and gain some information, go for a little bit of a reload as well, as they start to push through IT as well. But the first pick to come out will be Russia finding Yaz, and that's your Twitch off the board.
Again, this man just does not stop. He is trying to drag his team, kicking and screaming through, and he finds himself another to boot. This guy is just putting in the hard yards to deny all gamers that chance at forcing a 6th round under the belt in a 3v5. The Titan Esports well entrenched, lacking in that utility though. What a swing! Olmerex with that shotgun in hand blows solo mid away, and it's down onto MC and Railgun to get it done here to draw it back. 2v4, 29 seconds left to go. Candela out, but just ducking and diving around this wall, trying to swing out and find the kill. Can't get it done. Olmerex, and it leaves solo mid alone. And Titan Esports Club with Russia at the helm are clawing it back.
Yeah, it's all hands on deck. They are definitely rowing their boat towards the victory. And it's good to see. I mean, from that initial sort of viewer vote on who's going to win this game, Titan Esports, they're definitely putting up a fight and looking a lot more composed and working as a unit on this defense. Prior to that first round that we saw, and all gamers feeling the heat a little bit now, they are going to take that time out, sort of, shut down the momentum, pull things off a little bit, but they are definitely feeling the heat right now. It just seems that Titan Esports are just getting under their skin a little bit, being able to work around and just play off of Russia, like you said. And is it going to stop?
It is score anything but indicative of that fan vote. 87-13. If we were going to base the round count off that fan score, it'd be a 7-1 victory for all gamers, and it is currently sitting with a single round differential. KJ 5-4. Titan Esports Club with their ace up the sleeve. The Russia himself is just single-handedly keeping his team in it.
He is indeed, and they are going to ban his operator of choice. They're going for a little bit of a target ban, taking him off that Azami, but they are going to take off All Gamers operator that they had been using quite so often in these attacking rounds. That Capital, so crucial for clearing out those key positions. But here we're seeing a replay of Russia on that basement defense, going for that run out, really pressuring and toying with the glass there from MC, running across even, showing he is not scared. And then the quick spray there, and then the nice shot onto EXO. He is locked in and ready. But is it enough to carry them to victory, or are they going to fall short?
The relentless assault that he is leading in the face of this all gamers roster is one that, I mean, nothing, if nothing else, will command the respect of the CNL fan base and put some respect on Titan Esports Club's name, who, comparative to all gamers, not even on that same stage as an esports organization, are still going toe-to-toe with them.
For sure. But the thing is that it's very lopsided for Titan Esports right now. They are relying on Russia for those picks, for those kills, whereas on all gamers' side, it's a little bit more even, a little bit more balanced. All of the players are playing quite well, and they've just got to sort of work together and keep up that sort of teamwork that they had on their defensive half and carry it here on their attacking side. Don't let Titan Esports get in your head. And I think that's what that timeout would have done. Go for that reset. But it looks here with this attack, they're going to start to use these Runeterra drones to clear these castles and open up these lines of sight. Pressure these players of Titan Esports in the bomb site. But he's just going to use another castle to seal up that window again. And he's going to have to waste another Runeterra drone. So just time wasting here for Titan Esports.
And that's exactly it. Just bleed that clock, force all gamers into a position where they have to try and brute force their way into the objective, into a Thorn, into a Aruni, into a Clash. That is not a situation that is going to go all that well for you. We approach the halfway mark here of round number 10. All gamers could potentially force us onto match point or let this slip and allow Titan Esports Club to tie up the series, who are looking so unmovable on their defense.
They definitely are. They're just playing so well. And we see here Railgun setting up that flank drone, wary of anyone that's going to be flanking from that garage command side. So do see Blitz here starting to smoke out the bomb site. It looks like they're going to go for a plant in the middle of the breach, but they do have the Warden. He's not going to be able to be flashed, but he does try and go for the knife. Solo mid able to find the pick with the headshot there, leaving them in the man advantage. And Clash going to be caught out. MC with the backup. Yaz able to find one. Finally, Russia able to find some picks here, but it's left for him to ace the round. 1v3. Plant's going to start to go down. They've just got all the angles covered, but he does find the pick through the smoke. But he will be traded out, and that was almost scary for all gamers there, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, that tac pause being used, and it allows all gamers to reposition, reaggress, and they just lock that chokehold back in. And Titan, once again, despite Russia potentially looking like he may have been on for a hugely impressive 1vx, and even still without losing it, there is a good chance he's done a bit of damage to the mental. But all gamers get it locked in. They find themselves sitting at 6-4. One more. All they would need here to close it out and avert a potential comeback situation. But Titan are looking so crisp right now.
They definitely are, but they're now on the back foot. AG are on that match point now, so it has to be perfect from Titan Esports here on out. They can't drop a single round here if they want to get into that overtime. Now, they are going to be going down to the basement, so a more comfortable site for them. They've just got to ensure that they win this here so that they can carry it onto that final round here, because I want to see an overtime. I feel like the way that this match has played out, we deserve an overtime.
I mean, they were able to do it against King Zero, and it would definitely deal a bit of a blow to the morale of all gamers who, if you remember, coming into the playdate were 21-7 in round count. And they've then proceeded to drop 4 rounds on the fly here to Titan Esports Club, and potentially even more depending on how this round plays out. Very much a blow. But already you can see all gamers looking to get themselves to work with this Thermite, the Deimos and the Snake and the Dockerby. So a huge amount of information gathering potential for this all gamers roster paired with a Monty.
They're definitely looking to pressure all players of Titan Esports right now, no matter where they are, on the room, on the site. They're just looking to make them uncomfortable. Now we do see Solid Snake just able to clear this top floor with ease, know where enemies are, where they aren't. There is a disadvantage with Snake. Obviously, it is limited to the floor that you're on, and it is a little bit funky on staircases, but he does know that there is one nearby in that sort of radius, so he is wary of that Allah here on the pillar. He is going to start to go for that backstab. Allah is aware that they are pinged by the Snake. Snake knows all the information on where that Allah is now.
They can try and take Russia out of this equation at all, but certainly guarantees that all gamers will get it done here at a 7-4, because he has been the difference maker. One more kill, and Russia's dropping a 20 bomb against what is currently the front runner team in the competition, purely off round count. And Railgun just eating shots there with the Monty. Eats a Razor Bloom as well, clears out some of that utility, and that is his primary role this game, is burn all that utility, get himself in a position for a cheeky turtle plant.
We do see all gamers here. They have a lot of exo control. They're going to start to try and go for that assembly plant there on the door, I would imagine. Or they're going to start to try and pressure this player in Nano. But there's 3 players stacked here in exo. Can the Thorn hold it down? He's forced to push back. He's going to go for the spray through the wall. Will find MC, but will be traded out by Railgun. We do see the Goyos down there. Trades going everywhere. Yaz will find Okonix. It's all left to Russia. And the Mute there against the 3 of all gamers. The Deimos track will come out. Mute will be tracked. Forced to either hold safe or start to aggress. But he is stuck here in Animus.
You got to wonder if that's the player that you really want to scan out for Russia. Anyway, it's going to be a problem, but they take him out. No 20 bomb for the man. And a 1v3, this Mute has to bomb rush through the fire. Wraps around, but he can't get it done. All gamers deny any chance, any hope at overtime here for Titan Esports Club, getting it done in regulation. Locking their position. Top of the table here in Group A. Uncontestable.
Definitely was a close game, though. Definitely wasn't the game that we were expecting, especially, you know, the viewers at home, wherever you are, you know, taking on all gamers to win quite comfortably with that 87%, like you said. But Titan Esports, they put up a fight, and they definitely gave a run for their money for all gamers. I mean, they took 4 rounds, like you said, and they only dropped 7 rounds prior to 2 teams before this. So, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. So Titan Esports, they put up a fight, but they just were a little bit short of where they wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, Russia, I think, was the big spanner in the works there for all gamers. 19-6 by the end of it. 19-7, technically, by the end of it. Was just absolutely ripping and tearing through that All Gamers roster. And we saw that play out. You know, at halftime, there was a bit of a bring down from the coach. Phenom. He's just, you know, guys, just bring it back down to earth. We can still get this one done. The tack pause as well coming out. Just, again, level yourselves out. This guy is only one man. If we take him out, the other 4 are going to crumble. We have ways to deal with them. We've done it before. But if nothing else, Titan Esports Club may not have won the game, but I for sure know they won some fans.
Oh, for sure. You know, good exposure for the players, good exposure for the team and the organization. And, you know, on that LAN stage, you know, it's not easy, especially going against a team like AG. So, you know, they put up a good fight, and I'm keen to see, you know, how they go in the future. And definitely got some good players, but, you know, Russia, definitely a player to look out for. And I think that's what's nice about, you know, being able to see a emerging region like CNL, you know, on the stage, and we're able to see it in all its glory.
Absolutely. And I mean, a much more well-rounded effort from all gamers. It wasn't just the one-man army that Russia was for the side of Titan Esports Club. But I mean, Moonlight had a bit of a rough showing. Yeah, a couple of very big moments throughout the game, but he's not ripping through bodies like he did previously. He's not continuing to stack up that entry kill stat. I think, honestly, probably for the best that the game plays out like that a little bit. Something a little bit humbling going into the tail end of this group stage. Keep them grounded. Keep them within the realms of mortality, knowing full well that they just shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's still a lot more work to do before we even look towards Salt Lake. But for right now, KJ, it's time for a quick break. On the other side, final game of the evening here for Play Day 4.
Very keen to see it.